Hey guys, I'm Dr. Aaron Horschig from Squat University. I've got a brand new book called Rebuilding Milo that's coming out this January, and today I'm going to read the introduction for you. Here we go. Behind many a legendary tale, there is a hidden lesson to be learned. Those who incorporate weight training with the goal of improving their physique, strength, or power should look to the story of Milo. Milo was an ancient Greek Olympian and the poster child of athletic excellence in his time. Legend has it that at a very young age, Milo started his strength journey by lifting a small calf and carried it on his shoulder every day. As the calf grew over the years, so did Milo's strength, until one day he was hoisting a full-grown bull. Although it was unlikely that he was able to lift a 1,500-pound bull, like any good story, the legend sprang from humble beginnings. The 2,500-year-old story of how Milo built his heroic strength set forth the training principle that all athletes adhere to. That principle is now known as progressive overload. Within Milo's story is the idea that hard work combined with consistency can lead to legendary feats of strength and awe-inspiring athletic performance. Deep down inside each and every one of us is an innate desire to become our own version of Milo. The idea of building incredible strength in meeting our physical goals is why so many of us push our bodies day in and day out. While at surface level, the story of Milo may seem simple, the reality is that the process of building extraordinary strength is as much about grit, hard work, and determination as it is about science. You see, our bodies adhere to a scientific code, a simple framework of rules governed by the laws of biology and physiology. The code is simple. To develop strength, you must have balance between stress and recovery. Every time you perform a set of squats, pick up a heavy deadlift, or press a barbell overhead, you place a stress on your body. The harder your training session, the more stress you accumulate. In order to progressively develop more and more strength, the demands of your training must not exceed the adaptive capabilities of your body. Therefore, training must be balanced with recovery in order for the body to adapt, rebuild itself, and gain strength. If you follow this code, the sky is the limit for athletic performance. Sounds simple enough, right? Not so fast. In our pursuit of amassing strength, we all push the envelope. The competitor inside us drives us to complete one more rep, put 10 more pounds on the bar, and take one more attempt at setting a record on a lift. This determination is vital if you want to excel as a strength athlete. However, it can just as quickly be a double-edged sword. When we push our bodies to their physical limits and ignore the code, they eventually push back. I have never met a strength athlete who didn't have a nagging injury at some point in their career. Sometimes these injuries interfere with their training. When we push our bodies to the max and don't focus on sufficient recovery or lack ideal technique, injuries will occur. As fate would have it, in our quest to become our own version of Milo, we all wind up short of our destination. I want to share two stories with you. Josiah OBrien was like many powerlifters. He was a hard worker, loyal to his friends and family, and he loved lifting heavy weight in the gym with death metal blasting. He never used a foam roller and thought mobility work was a waste of time. When parts of his body started to hurt, he ignored the pain. He lived by the mantra, no pain, no gain. Unfortunately, this lifestyle eventually caught up with him. On October 22, 2016, Josiah entered a competition at 22nd Street Barbell in Des Moines, Iowa. The meet started just like any other. After successfully completing his second of 3 squat attempts at 638 pounds, he decided to go for 655, a feat only 5 pounds heavier than his personal best at the time. After unracking the massive weight, he took a few steps back and set his feet. To his surprise, the bar felt light on his back. However, as he descended into the squat, disaster struck. He heard both legs snap. The weight came crashing down, pinning his legs behind his body as he crumpled to the floor. That day, Josiah ended up tearing almost every supporting ligament and tendon, quad and patellar, in both knees. He was rushed to the closest hospital in the bed of his friend's truck, unable to sit in the back seat, as the massive amount of swelling and pain wouldn't allow him to bend his knees. This was only the start of his troubles. Josiah ended up developing rhabdomyolysis, a serious condition in which the kidneys started failing because the muscle damage to the body is so severe. In the following weeks, after Josiah was stabilized, he underwent extensive surgery to repair the torn ligaments and tendons. He was then placed in straight leg braces, unable to move his knees whatsoever for 12 weeks. Eventually, in early 2017, Josiah came to me to start physical therapy. It would be an understatement for me to say that this was the most challenging case I had ever seen. By this time in my career, I had helped hundreds and hundreds of athletes rehab from knee injuries, ranging from meniscus repairs to ACL reconstructions. The damage inflicted on Josiah's body that day in 2016 was a whole different level. After all was said and done, rebuilding his body required over 100 physical therapy visits spread over 9 months. He had to completely relearn how to walk, jump, and run. He hobbled into my clinic the first day unable to walk normally, and left with the ability to deadlift over 600 pounds, jump over a 24-inch hurdle, and run without any issues. He even returned to the competition platform on August 12, 2017, less than 1 year after the devastating injury, and successfully squatted 195 pounds. Now, while the weight on the bar was a far cry from the 600-pound plus weight that he had been used to moving, he was able to prove to himself that this injury did not define who he was. He was a powerlifter, and powerlifters never quit. The second story is of my own. As an aspiring weightlifter, I had always dreamed of the day that I could compete on the same stage with the best in the United States. While my ambition far outweighed my athletic talent and strength, I was able to qualify for the 2011 U.S. Senior Nationals in the 85 kilo, 187 pound weight class. Leading up to the competition, I decided to turn up the heat in my preparation. I started to pull 2-a-day training sessions. I would wake up at 6 a.m. to get my squats and pulls in before heading to grad school classes for the day. I would return later on to finish up whatever snatches, cleans, or jerks had in store. There was no way I was going to pass up a chance to perform at my very best on the national stage. A few weeks before competition, I developed severe pain in my left knee. Every time I went into a deep squat, it felt like a knife was being jabbed into my patellar tendon. So I did what every physical therapy student would do. I went to my professors for guidance. The advice I received was unfortunately the same advice that many athletes in my situation are given. Just stop lifting so often. Seriously? They knew I had a huge competition coming up. I couldn't just stop lifting. So I resorted to doing what most athletes do in this situation. Before each training session, I would pop 3 or 4 Advil and slather icy hot all over my knees, and I iced my knee at the end of each day. While I was able to make it through the rest of my training cycle without further injury, I was frustrated by how the competition went. While I was able to place 6th in my weight class, I knew I could have performed better if my training hadn't been interrupted by this injury. I tell you these stories to remind you that pain is something all strength athletes deal with. While life-threatening injuries like Josiah experienced is the exception rather than the rule, the underlying theme of both stories remains true. When you train hard and don't recover enough, the stresses of training begin to accumulate. And when you mix in less than perfect lifting technique, they add up even faster. Eventually, these stresses culminate in injury. 99% of the time, the pain you experience as strength athletes is not a severe medical emergency like Josiah experienced, but minor aches and pains like I experienced that disrupt your training and limit your performance. Unfortunately, many athletes don't have the basic knowledge of how to perform simple maintenance on their own bodies. From an early age, athletes are told that pain is a normal part of training. This mindset has created a cycle where athletes continue to lift and push through pain until they literally break. It is not until the pain affects their performance that athletes finally seek help. We must put a stop to this broken system of lift, 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 break. While it is impossible to eliminate all aches and pains from weight training, it's something we can have better control over. Today's society will tell you that pain is a medical problem. I don't believe this is correct. You see, the way in which many in the medical community have addressed pain in the past is to treat the symptom of pain and not the cause. While the solution of painkillers and anti-inflammatories might satisfy your craving for a quick fix, it is not going to help you in the long run. On the other hand, restoring optimal movement through subtle improvements in strength, mobility, and coordination is the key to solving pain and returning to a high level of performance. Using temporary quick fixes to address pain is like putting a piece of tape over a hole in your car's tire. This isn't to say that these fixes have no value. Sometimes you need that piece of tape in order to get your car to the mechanic. But covering it up doesn't change the fact that there's a hole in your tire. In the same manner, I do recommend seeking professional care if you still have pain after your completion of this book. I would encourage you to bring this book with you to your consultation so that you and the professional you choose are on the same page about your recovery and your desire to fix the cause of your pain rather than just cover it up. There is always a reason for pain. It doesn't develop out of thin air. It not only hinders your performance, but changes the way you move. Pain affects your coordination and the efficiency of your technique. It limits your mobility and diminishes your strength, all of which are a part of your body's effort to protect itself from further injury. If you've picked up this book, you know what I mean. You've likely already experienced this problem. Being unable to lift like you want without pain is frustrating and straight up maddening. And trust me, I've been there. I get it. I'm here to tell you that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. David Viscott once wrote, "The purpose of life is to discover your gift. The work of life is to develop it. The meaning in life is to give your gift away." I have made it my life's purpose to help every single person who walks into a weight room get back to doing what they love to do without pain. The information contained in this book is the culmination of my life's work as a performance physical therapist, and I want to share it with you. Now, the ideas presented in these pages may challenge some of your beliefs about how to address pain. I want to put you back in control of your body and what you're feeling. The large majority of aches and pains we experience are not a serious medical issue. They don't require a visit to the doctor or an expensive surgery to fix. As physical therapist Kelly Starrett says, you wouldn't bring your car to the mechanic to put air in your tires or call an electrician to change your light bulb. Simply stated, you should have the ability to perform basic maintenance on your body. Through these pages, you'll be guided on a path to uncover the why behind your injury. Each chapter is built around a specific site of pain, low back, hip, knee, etc. And you will learn about the specific causes of pain from disc bulges to patellar tendonitis. You will learn how to evaluate your individual strengths and weaknesses with simple to perform tests and assessments. Once the precise cause for your pain is uncovered, you'll be given exercises and strategies designed specifically for your body that you can immediately apply in your training to help you decrease pain and build a strong foundation for enhancing future performance. To maximize the effectiveness of this book, I recommend reading the entire chapter you choose to start. Take mental notes on the first time through to really understand the differences between each injury. The information contained in the text contains the most up-to-date science on injury and rehabilitation that will be explained in a way anyone can comprehend. The more you understand the why behind your symptoms, the more empowered you will feel to take control and stay consistent with the recommended rehab plan. The second time through the text, perform the diagnostic text and suggested rehab exercises. Go slowly through each movement and listen to your body. The journey to become pain-free will take discipline and commitment. In 1997, Apple released the iPod. For the first time in history, someone could have 1,000 songs in their pocket. With this creation, a person had instant access to all of their favorite artists and songs. In a similar manner, I designed this book to give you direct access to the knowledge that elite physical therapists and performance coaches possess. No matter whether you're a world-class powerlifter who has fallen on hard times or a 35-year-old avid CrossFitter who just wants to return to training with your friends. The lessons found within these pages will put you on the right path to rebuilding yourself into a modern-day Milo. Let's begin. So there it is, guys. That's the introduction for my book, Rebuilding Milo, which comes out January 19th of 2021. If you guys enjoy what you're hearing and you want to take the first steps to getting out of pain, resolving those injuries, and getting back to 100%, go right now to Amazon.com, BookDepository.com, Barnes & Noble, or wherever you buy books from, and request pre-order Rebuilding Milo. Thanks, guys.